everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Places in News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and in today's session we will be discussing some important global and Indian places which have been in news from the perspective of your exam. So let us begin with global places first. The first place that we are going to cover today is Honshu Island. Honshu Island is present in Japan, one of the geographical islands present in the country of Japan. The reason it has been in news because of earthquake of magnitude 6.2. Now, when we are talking about Honshu Island, it is one of the largest and most populous island in Japan. And when we are talking about the location, precisely located in between Pacific Ocean and Sea of Japan. So, when you look here, you can clearly see various islands such as Hokkaido, then we have Honshu, then we have Shikoku, the smallest one, and then we have Kyushu. So these are four major islands present of Japan, and Honshu, as you can clearly see, is the biggest and most populous island. When we are talking about more about location, we get to see that it is part of Japanese island arc and it is formed because of the presence of subduction zone right here. This is the place where we get to see convergence of one oceanic plate, that is Pacific plate, and then we have Philippine and Eurasian plate. Other than that, when we are talking about the regions present here, we have Kanto plain right near the capital. Other than that, Kansai region, which is located near Osaka and Kyoto. So if you look here, you can clearly find Osaka region, very important. Kyoto is the name you must remember from the Kyoto Protocol. So very closely located region. It has various types of physiographical features such as mountains. 70% is covered through mountains. Can you tell me in the comment section which is a very famous volcanic mountain present in Japan? Apart from that, we have presence of coastal plains as well. Now, the name of that particular mountain is also present here, that is Mount Fuji. It is also known for the volcanism. You can associate with the idea of subduction zone that we was talking about. So, wherever we get to see oceanic plates submerging, subducting beneath the continental plate, we get to see volcanism. So, this is a very good example that we can use. Apart from that, when we talk about significance of this particular country, very important from different aspects. If you look at the economic part of it, we get to see the Tokyo Yokohama megapolis. Apart from that, Japan, one of the highly industrialized regions. It is backbone of Japan's manufacturing as well as the services. From the perspective of geography and disaster management, this is a region which sees frequent earthquakes, tsunamis and also volcanic eruption. In geography itself, you have to also talk about the tectonic importance, how this is a subduction zone and the kind of geomorphology you see there. Again, by influence by geography, the infrastructure innovation which has been done in this region, as you can see, it is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. So, proneness to disaster comes because of this fact, but at the same time, we get to see that infrastructure innovation has done. Earthquake resistant buildings are formed here, very nice early warning systems, advanced. And when we are talking about the culture core, which is very prominently present in Kyoto and Nara, which were the ancient capitals. There is a story along, if you have seen the movie Oppenheimer, the reason Kyoto was not target, one of the journals who was sending the atomic bombs to Hiroshima and Nagasaki had visited Kyoto and he was so impressed by it. So when we are looking at Japan, a very good example of risk resilient development model, there is presence of high speed rail, that is Shinkansen, which is disaster resistant transport. If you remember the bullet trains that we are talking about in India, they have been partnered up with Japan. So if we are looking at a case study for urban congestion versus efficiency trade-off, Japan remains a very good example here. Now I'll be leaving you with a question here for this particular topic. Let me know the answer in the comment section. Moving ahead, next place we are covering is Algeria. Now, Algeria has been in news because of multiple reasons, apart from the fact that this region saw a huge dust storm on its border with Mali, and it is expected that it will sign a historic treaty with France and Morocco as well. Now, when we are talking about Algeria, the reason this country is particularly important is because of the location. So, it is clearly located in North Africa, and you can see we have direct access to Mediterranean Sea of this country. It has mountain ranges The most prominent mountain ranges of Africa, that is Atlas Range, Tell Atlas Range is present here, Saharan Atlas is present here, and 80% of the area in Algeria is covered by Sahara Desert. The capital of this country is Algiers. The climate here is Mediterranean, especially in the north region. When we are talking about the southern region, we get to see that it is desert prominence is present here. It is highly known for the presence of hydrocarbon as a resource, especially Hassi Armel gas field. And then if you can see in this diagram, you will clearly find there are multiple pipelines going across Algeria. These are important gas pipelines. So this is a resourceful region. Very important from the perspective of energy security, a major natural gas supplier to Europe. It is the link between Africa, Europe and Mediterranean pipeline network I have just shown you, and it also has a very influential role to play in African Union and also OPEC. However, environmental concerns are another reason that Algeria remains in news, such as desertification and climate change hotspot. It is the largest country present in Africa, as I said, not just in physical area terms but also in terms of influence. That's why the strategic depth is present. A lot of solar energy potential, future renewable energy hub can be Algeria. So we get to see in Africa, this is a very nice example of resource dependent economy, especially when we are talking about hydrocarbon alliance. Now moving to a question for you on this particular place we have covered. Let me know the answer in the comment section. All the questions are from the things that we have covered. It is just to check that you have a fair clarity on this. Moving to the next place that we are covering today, Kariba Dam. Now there is a consideration that 500 megawatt floating solar plant project will be put up at Kariba Dam so that the power supply in Zimbabwe is boosted. So to understand this better, we have to start with the location of Kariba Dam. Now Kariba Dam is strategically located, as you can see, at the border of Zambia and we have Zimbabwe here. So this is Lake Kariba, correct, and this is Zambezi River which is coming, and Kariba Dam is located here. Now when we are talking about the reservoir which is formed by this lake is the Lake Kariba itself. It is one of the largest artificial lakes which are present globally. This basin is Zambezi Basin, formed by Zambezi River. It directly drains where? It drains into Indian Ocean. It crosses Mozambique and then into Indian Ocean. Other than that, it is also known for double curvature arc dam, which is seen in Kariba Dam itself. It was built back in 1950s. That is why colonial infrastructure, few concerns about the safety and efficiency of this particular dam have also been seen. But at the same time, talking about significance, very important from the perspective of energy generation. It is the hydropower backbone, supplies major share of electricity. It supports mining, agriculture, industries in the region. It has high rainfall variability. That is why it can lead to energy security as well, because if not maintained properly. And because of this dam, we have seen ecological impacts such as habitat loss, displacement, which can be seen as example from Operation No. Then this is such a good example of trans-boundary governance because it is a shared resource. I've just shown you two regions, Zambia and then Zimbabwe are sharing it. So cooperation dynamics and conflict dynamics both can be understood very well from this. Apart from that, a very difficult nexus of water, energy, food comes out of this dam, so it can be an example there. A reservoir supports the fishery also in the economy, and it shows that how large dams can definitely help, but the excessive dependence on it in such a climate changing era is difficult and also risky. Now moving to the question on this particular topic. Look at the question and I am expecting your answers in the comment section. Moving to the next place, now we will be looking at Indian places. First place we are going to cover today is Zojila Pass. Now talking about Zojila Pass has been in news because of the avalanche. Many people killed and many injured in the avalanche which affected Zojila Pass. Now talking about the location of Zojila Pass, that will give you a clearer picture. When we are talking about Zojila Pass, it is located in Greater Himalayas and it is responsible for connecting Kashmir Valley to Ladakh. So if you see, this is the Zojila tunnel which was made, and the connectivity from Srinagar to Leh has been facilitated it. Now that we are talking about Zojila Pass, let us also talk about the tunnel itself. It is the longest bi-directional single tube road tunnel in Asia. The length was more than 14 kilometers. And this is the one which has completed the Srinagar-Leh highway, that is NH1. The elevation here is more than 3500 and it is affected by heavy snowfall. That is why I get to see closure in winters of the Zojila Pass. However, when we talk about Zojila Tunnel, it is functional in all days and it has been propagated in the name of all-weather accessibility. Now, when we talk about the strategic importance, this pass and also the tunnel lifeline for Indian Army in Ladakh. It provides connectivity to Srinagar, Kargil, Leh corridor. The infrastructure Zojila Tunnel has enhanced the connectivity further. If we talk about the historic role of this pass, we get to see it was a key route during Kargil War 1999. It has boosted Indian tourism and also regional trade. Furthermore, it has reduced the dependence on air logistics. That means lesser money to be given and more accessibility has been provided. Apart from that, enhanced border infrastructure under Atmanirbhar defense strategy and a very good example of high altitude engineering challenges and how it can be overcome. Can you give me another example of high altitude engineering example marvel that we have seen? On this note, another question coming up for you. Please let me know the answer in the comment section. Moving to the next place that we are covering today in Indian places, that is Gangotri National Park. Now, Gangotri National Park has been opened again for tourists and it is given a winter break every year for 6 months. Now, when we are talking about Gangotri National Park, this is located in Uttarakhand and we have to look at this because Uttarakhand is not known for only one national park. We have 6: Gangotri National Park, Govind Pashun Vihar National Park, Rajaji National Park, Jim Corbett National Park, Valley of Flowers National Park and Nanda Devi National Park. Can you tell me in the comment section which state do you belong to and how many national parks are located there? So when we are talking about Gangotri National Park located in Uttarkashi district in Uttarakhand, it is very close to Gangotri Glacier, which is also the origin of river Bhagirathi, which later meets Alaknanda at Devprayag, and from there Ganga formation is seen. If you look at the terrain of Gangotri National Park, it is mostly alpine, glacial and high altitude ecosystem, understandable at this given altitude. The rivers that we get to see is Bhagirathi and later this merges with Alaknanda to become Ganga. Now, very significant in terms of hydrological role. First, because this is the source of Ganga river system. The biodiversity here is immense and rare. Snow leopard, musk deer and Himalayan fauna. And it is a very important climate indicator because any sort of glacial retreat here signals warming trends already. It also has religious value associated with Gangotri Dham, which is one of the 4 dhams present in our country. And this is one of a very good example of fragile ecosystems which requires immense protection. Apart from that, gives us a very good lens to understand how cryosphere, cryo word is for ice, how cryosphere studies work out, insight towards alpine vegetation, medicinal plants, and definitely very sensitive to tourism pressure because highly fragile and sensitive ecosystem is present here. Now moving to the last place that we are covering today, but before that, question for you again. Let us look at the question. I'm expecting the answers in the comment section because all the questions are very easy, very direct from what we are studying already. Okay, moving to the next place, that is Balirajgarh site. Now Balirajgarh site has been in news because ASI, that is Archaeological Survey of India, has done a digging there, and this digging at Balirajgarh site has been done to get a better understanding of the ancient Mithila history. Now Mithila is the region where it is considered that goddess Sita came from, and that is why after previous exploration this is a more intense one that is being done. Now when we talk about location of Balirajgarh, it is located in Madhubani district in Bihar. This region is known for the Mithila cultural region. If we look at the site, it is a fortified settlement and it also gives us an insight into early historic period. when we are talking about the significance of this very site, it gives us a clear picture into urban planning, especially of fortified city and what the layout was present associated with Mithila civilization. It has archaeological value where we get to see pottery, structure, artifacts. The early state formation of the Ganga region can be understood from here, and definitely then this gives a lot of heritage potential to Bihar because tourism and academic research can go off from here. It also gives a lens to the transition from how Vedic to urban phase came in. So when we are talking about Eastern India's role in early civilization, this Balirajgarh site can become a very important place in this. Apart from that, has a very strong potential for becoming a UNESCO heritage site in the coming future. Now on this note, straight up to the last question for the day. This is the question for you, expecting the answer in comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.